Oh, wow. Let's wait for a moment. Yo, my Dorito posters, what's up, dude? Alright, today we're gonna be playing a little bit of Pokemon Blue. Yeah, let's play as Red. I mean, technically speaking, we're playing Blue, so, the main character's name is Red. Now, the main character's name is Red. Alright, now we're on the road to Viridian City. Except not right now, we're actually past Viridian City. We will be going back later, though. I mean, more importantly, it will... Alright, let's go talk to let's go talk to this guy. I chair the Pokemon Fan Club. You mean, I am the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club, really? I have collected over 100 Pokemon. I'm very fussy when it comes to Pokemon. Wait, you have 100 of them? Dang, that's more than Ash has ever caught. Well, then again, I kid, but when he got into the more modern seasons in Sun and Moon, he did actually start catching more Pokemon. Yeah, Hey, Uglyzilla, what's up? Alright, now, Hi there, thank you for returning. So, did you come to hear about my Pokemon? Yes. Good, then listen up. My favorite Rapidash. Aw, that reminds me of that one Succubus VTuber I was watching, who really liked Rapidash and was trying to get a shiny. And then when they were playing Legends Arceus, yeah, they kind of got a free shiny Ponyta, and they were like really disappointed about that because it was triggered their rage or something about trying to get shiny Rapidash. It's cute, lovely, smart, plus amazing. I do agree that shiny Ponyta and shiny Rapidash are very good though. I got that blue flame, yeah. Oh yes, it's stunning. Yeah, kindly. Love it. Oh, hug it when sleeping warm. And cuddly. Oh, spectacular. Ravishing. Oh, whoops. Look at the time. I kept you too long. Thanks for hearing me out. I want you to have this. And you received the bike voucher, which we're going to be needing for later to get to the bicycle road, because it's like the shorter route, that's like the shorter, easy... Don't worry, my Fearow can fly me anywhere. So I don't need a bicycle. I hope you like cycling. Well, I'm going to be using the cycling road a little bit later. It will means I will have to fight one, Snorlax. Yeah, there's 2 Snorlax in the game, and, I'm gonna, kill one of them and then, catch the other, yeah. Alright, now, what else was I trying to do? Oh, wait, check out my team, by the way. Let's see, obviously, I have Nidorino. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I do have Blastoise now. I got to level 36. So, Squirtle is now Blastoise. Also, I did level up as Jesse James. I realize I misspelled Jesse's name, but, there's not enough characters to put an extra I, so... So, it's like I named it after the Outlaw. Which, coincidentally, Team Rocket are kind of named after that, too. Alright, and obviously, Fleshlight, they're now Weeping Bell. And I managed to level them up to learn Razor Leaf, which is a really good move. And of course, I got Hypno. Alright, I should probably wait till the ad break is over. Yeah, I got Hypno, and by the way, I do have Hypno, which is kind of a, Alright, the less I say about Hypno, the better. Alright, and we have Bird Up. Bird is the word. Oh, by the way, Bird Up is, kind of a little lower level than everybody else. I kind of forgot, to get them to level 38. So how about we fix that by battling some trainers, shall we? I mean, surely we can beat all the trainers in this area. You're gonna accuse me of cheating if you lose? Yeah, you're clearly cheating. You're using a Charizard against my Chikorita? Oh no, he's sending out Ekans. Alright, let's get ready for the rap, guys. Ekans' attack continues. Alright, Drill Peck. Eat a Drill Peck. Yeah, eat a Drill Peck. My bird is superior to your snake. I mean, Ekans is a very good, and it's a very, beautiful Pokemon, but, yeah, give me your lunch money, nerd. Give me your lunch money, nerd. Now we're going up against a Gambler. Win, lose, or draw. Remember when Gambler was, a trainer class? Yeah, we can't have that anymore because that's a reference to gambling, and we can't have that. Yeah, I like that, I like that, games that are inspired by Pokemon kind of are able to do things that are a little bit more edgy on the basis that they're not Pokemon. Kind of makes them a little bit better. Like, Cassette Beast, the Archangels straight up kill people, and they straight up want to kill people. Yeah. And Pokemon, the villains aren't really allowed to, even make a death threat, really. And, except they kind of imply it, really. Geddis is probably the closest that ever came to, actually threatening death on our child. Since he tried to have Kyrium, use its ice spikes, to Pyrrhus, to try to do murder, to try and do the special move, murder child. Yeah, but then again, Geddis is, kind of the craziest, Pokemon villain. I mean, Lusamine would be too, but they kind of ruined her character, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Yeah, for some reason, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they tried to, make her quote-unquote sympathetic. Yeah. I kind of wish, Pokemon would go back to, just making villains evil again. I mean, I like Team Star and everything, but I want an actual evil villain. Not someone who I feel bad for and, want to sympathize with. I mean, Team Star can barely even be called villains, really. The real villain in that game is obviously bullying. Which, I mean, bullying is, a force that's more evil than, really any supervillain. Than any villain, really. As I very much well know, because, that happened to me quite a bit, when I was in fairy school. Yeah, back when, Titania was my teacher, the other fairies weren't so nice to me, unfortunately. Yeah, that's why Titania taught me a lot of survival skills for basically surviving the fairy realm. Yeah, luckily I went there kind of after then I kind of expunged my true name from, the Akashic Record, so that nobody could ever know it, not even me. So nobody ever really got my true name, thankfully, and nobody ever will, unfortunately. Actually, fortunately, because, knowing fairies' true names does allow people to control them. Yeah. Alright, now we defeated youngster Joey. We've defeated youngster Joey and his top percentage rats, Anna. Wait a minute, he's not the one that said, shirts are comfy and easy to wear? Alright, we're competition, I can't get enough. No. Well, I can't get enough competition either. Yeah, I'm kind of competing with everybody that's way more talented than I am. I should probably find a niche that, that only I can fill. And then the only thing I can really do is, kind of tell a little bit of stories. Which I'm not terribly good at, but I will try. I mean, I did, recently make, the Boogeyman of Darkness. He's like one of the major villains of the lore. He's kind of responsible for, a major Dreamland arc. He's responsible for the War of Dreams and Nightmares, which is a major event in the lore. Well, he's partly responsible for that. Also, there was also another villain named Callista, who's kind of his sidekick. Well, I mean, she's kind of her own thing, really, but, she's a succubus who focuses more on the dream manipulation side of things. Yeah, it was actually all of it was kind of a scheme by Astarte, basically. And Astarte, by that point, had become, completely full love goddess by that point. Yeah, she kind of, had a big history. Yeah, Astarte has a big history deep in the past, because she's one of the gods that was basically a traitor to, the goddess of creation. Yeah, it was kind of a big deal in the lore. I mean, the goddess of creation is basically the avatar of the creator, basically. Yeah, and the creator is kind of this outerversal, force in the lore. Oh, nice. Bird up, level up to 38. Nice. And he defeated the Gambler. Gambler, I saw this coming. Yeah, luckily gamblers, give you lots of money whenever you beat them. But they definitely, the funny thing about, the Gambler class is that they have a good chance of, using high-risk, high-reward moves, such as self-destruct and all that. Yeah, that makes me kind of wish, gamblers would come back, but obviously, Pokemon is, like, super popular with, children and all that, and, unfortunately, a lot of Karens are, really stupid helicopter parents. Yeah, that's kind of why, I am looking forward to the new Digimon game, and I'm kind of thinking that might be, way better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, really. I mean, to be fair, Scarlet and Violet, I did like the characters, I did like the story, but you know, it very noticeably had a bunch of performance issues. And also some very noticeable bouncing issues, which I noticed basically right away because, you know, I was kind of going off and leveling up and doing my own thing, you know, without really focusing too much on the main story for most of it. And basically I got way too powerful, way too fast, you know, before I was intended to take on certain challenges. Which is kind of why I think, you know, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet would have been a little bit better if, you know, if enemies scaled in level with you, at least they fix the mount, so that you're not just completely bodying everybody. You're not just completely bodying everybody. I mean, a little bit like Octopath Traveler, a little bit, yeah. You know, obviously they're not completely even with you, of course, in that game, but you know, they did, you know, if you took on certain challenges whenever you wanted, they would level up a certain amount to kind of try and keep up with your current level a little bit whenever you did a quest in that game. Granted, you know, Octopath Traveler is like really, really grindy, which is kind of why, you know, I dropped it, because, you know, I kind of really did I like this story, and I like that, you know, Octopath Traveler is definitely not afraid to be a little bit more edgy than most RPGs that I've grown up and seen, which I really like. Yeah, I really like that about it. Also, by the way, you know, Gen 1 is kind of before, you know, Steel types were a thing. So, Magnemite, so if I use Horn Attack, it will be, you know, neutral damage to Magnemite. You know, obviously Magnemite, you know, did become a Steel type in Generation 2, which this is not. You know, and Steel and Dark were mostly introduced to kind of, you know, basically to counteract, you know, how OP Psychic type was in this game, yeah. Yeah, Psychic type was completely unbalanced in this game, unfortunately. Yeah, and there was intended to, and Ghost type and, you know, Bug type, you know, were intended to kind of counter it a little bit. But the only bug moves in this game were really Leech Life and, you know, Twin Needle. And Twin Needle is obviously learned by a Poison type, which is weak to Psychic. And Leech Life was very, very horrible and really, really bad in this game. Yeah, you gotta remember, this was before, you know, this was before Sun and Moon, where Leech Life actually became kind of good. This was before Sun and Moon would, you know, make Leech Life, you know, an actual good move. Yeah, I kind of wish they kind of do the same thing for Absorb and, you know, not make it, you know, super weak. In fact, a lot of, you know, the old Gen 1 moves, you know, they need to be buffed. I mean, can you believe that Razor Wind is still completely useless? I don't even think Razor Wind is even in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I don't think that move is even in Scarlet and Violet. Basically, Razor Wind is bad. It's so bad that, you know, it's basically useless. Also, for some reason, it's not a flying type move, despite, you know, very clearly being a wind move. Which I kind of find odd. And, you know, Razor Wind has less than 100% accuracy. And, you know, other moves that are like Razor Wind, you know, actually have good base power for, you know, the payoff of, you know, waiting a turn to actually use it. And some moves like Skull Bash did actually get buffed. Yeah, Skull Bash, you know, now increases your defense. Why, they even buffed Rapid Spin to, you know, raise speed as well. Yeah, remember when Rapid Spin was mostly ran just to kind of counter spikes? I mean, that's pretty much how it still ran to this day, but, you know, and coming with a speed buff and, you know, getting a slight bump in power, you know, makes it a little bit better. I travel alone on my journeys. My Pokemon are my only friends. Oh no, we're up against somebody who's antisocial! Oh no, we're up against an antisocial old person. No! Oh no, an antisocial old person. Yeah, that's right. That pretty much seems like the boomer generation, to be honest. Yeah, you probably, you know, unironically watches Fox News. Also, he's got 2 Growlithe. I don't blame him for, you know, having Growlithe. You know, it's a really cool Pokemon, not gonna lie. Although, you know, in Pokemon Blue, you don't get Growlithe, you get Vulpix. I mean, I do like Ninetales. I do like Ninetales a little bit better than Arcanine. Although strictly speaking, Arcanine is... Actually, you know, Ninetales is actually a little bit better. Actually, Ninetales did eventually become a little bit better simply because it can make... Because it, you know, has a drought... Because it has a drought ability as its hidden ability. Alright, we're up against another old person. Alright, now, this kind of reminds me of my weakness in, you know, what was it again? No, it's not Stick of Truth, it was the one, you know, after that. Oh, yeah, Fractured But Whole, yeah. Yeah, one of the weaknesses you can have as a superhero in, that game is, you know, old people. Yeah, it's barely relevant, but, you know, it's a little bit better than, you know, crab... It's a little bit better than crab people or, vampires. Yeah, whatever you do, don't do the DLC and, you know, pick vampires. Whatever you do, don't pick vampires because one of the DLCs is heavily focused on vampire enemies. Yeah, one of the DLCs is, like, really heavily focused on vampires. I'm just glad, you know, Nidoran does not have poison points in this game. Alright, Gentleman has been defeated. Gentleman, you're rude child. Ha, give me your money. I wish to be left alone. Get out. Oh no. Oh no, an antisocial old person. Definitely of the boomer generation. I'm just kidding about that, okay? Waiter, I would like a cherry pie, please. I'm not the waiter. I'm not a waiter. Why do you think I'm a waiter? I literally don't look like the wait staff. I always travel with Wigglytuff. Well, Wigglytuff is, you know, Wigglytuff, you know, kind of looks like, you know, the modern babies, and I'm not there for that, no. Yeah, ugliest redesign in my opinion. You know, that's a really ugly redesign in my opinion. I know not everybody's going to technically agree with that, but look here, listen. The more modern Beanie, older Beanie Babies looked a lot cuter. And, you know, the modern PD Babies look like they're, yeah, they have way too big eyes. Yeah, their eyes are, like, real big. I don't know why they started doing that, but, you know, I kind of think it was a bad change in my opinion. Yeah, not gonna lie, I think that was kind of a bad change. Oh well, alright, Then again, I did have the 4 Pokemon plushes from, I did have the 4 Pokemon plushes from, KFC back in the day. Let's see, what were they again? Let's see, they were Vulpix, Zubat, Seal, and Dratini. Yeah, my favorite was the Dratini one. I really liked Dratini back then. You know, one time when I was playing Pokemon, when I was playing Pokemon Blue, you know what I did? I made myself a level 100 Dratini. In retrospect, it was kind of a bad choice, but I took that thing to the Elite Four. Simply because I liked Dratini that much. Cool, I found a TM08. So, what's TM08 again? So, what exactly is TM08? What is TM... Alright, what is this? It contains Body Slam. Well, I definitely want to hang on to that. You know, Body Slam is a great move in Gen 1. I mean, not only is it a great normal type move, it also basically... Sure, I'm a global police agent. I'm on the trail of Team Rocket? Wait, I don't think this is the anime, so, Team Rocket's not on this boat? Wait, Team Rocket's not on this boat, right? Right, and this is the kitchen. None of these cooks will fight you, so don't worry about them. But there is something in one of these trash cans. Yeah, Great Ball, nice. Oh, I do like Great Balls. Alright, yeah, now can we get some food from here? No, I'm pretty sure the food is like the Concord. You know, not that Concord. Not that Concord. You know, not that Concord you're thinking of, which was that bad video game that, you know, nobody liked. I'm talking about the cruise ship, yeah. Yeah, the cruise ship was definitely, quite a disaster, really. Although, then again, in the anime, in the anime, not SS Anne, sunk as well. Yeah. Part of me kind of wishes that James, that Jesse and James, were nicer to Magikarp. I mean, you would assume that, Pokemon trainers are aware of what, Gyarados is. I mean, I would assume that, Pokemon trainers are, looking for strong Pokemon, and, I would assume they would know what Gyarados is. And, the fact that you have to raise a Magikarp to get one. But, the best way that, Team Rocket decided, to make Gyarados was, hey, we're gonna force Magikarp to evolve. Which is kind of what happened with the Red Gyarados. Wait, wasn't that in the game and the anime? Yeah, I think that was part of Gen 2, and they also did that in the anime too. Kind of one of the things that, was kind of close to the anime. Kind of close to the video game, actually. Although they do a few references to the anime inside of, the video games every now and again. Yeah, as well as hey, by the way, you know the Pokemon Tower in this game, right? You guys know. Right, so in this game, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with that ghost crown that you do when you terrestrialize into a ghost type. Yeah, it comes from, that's right, the sprite for that does come from this game, when you're not identifying ghosts with a Silph Scope. Hi, Travels, I have never seen any Pokemon sleep like this one. It was something like this. You're telling me that Pokemon trainers don't know what Snorlax is? I would assume, people who want to be Pokemon trainers, at least are aware of what certain Pokemon are. Like, then again, I know this world, sends out 10-year-old children out into the world to, become Pokemon trainers. To kind of leave home and become Pokemon trainers, but, I would think, at least children would know what, Pokemon are. I assume they're taught that in school. I mean, it seems like this world's entire economy and world are kind of based around Pokemon. Which, in retrospect, is kind of a nightmare dystopian world, a bit like, how Hyrule is a nightmarish dystopian world. For various reasons. Yeah, my favorite, nothing's more nightmarish and dystopian than, the Hero of Time and Zelda and Ganondorf, constantly reincarnating over and over and over again and keep having their battle and, over and over and over again. Because of, I don't know, the offense of, Skyward Sword or something. Due to the imprisons, which became Demise. Or was it Demise? Alright. You gotta remember, I didn't play Skyward Sword because, it was on the Wii at the time when it came out, and I was like, and I kind of heard about the motion controls, I was like, nope. Yeah. I should really play it on the Switch, though, sometime. I hear the controls are a little bit more manageable in the Switch. Alright, now let's fight this gentleman. Now, good thing about gentlemen, they give you plenty of money, plus I'm gonna fight every trainer on the SS Anne. And the reason I am doing that is, because you can't really refight them again because the SS Anne kind of goes away, after you get the HM and, leave. So I kind of do want to fight every trainer on here. Otherwise, I won't be able to do it later anyway. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to come back here later because it does leave. Presumably for Johto. At least I assume for Johto. Oh, a Ponyta. Well, wasn't, the Pokemon chairman of, the Pokemon fan club, going on about, Rapidash or something? Yeah, I do agree that Rapidash is a very good, it's a very cool looking Pokemon. Especially when it's shiny. Cool, I found a rare candy, nice. Alright, I want to find more rare candies. I never saw you at the party. Well, that's just because I got here. I didn't even know there was a party. Why, presumably this lass is like, is like that old man's granddaughter or something? At least I assume that's their relationship. Right now. My favorite thing about relationships is the relationships and, Cthulhu Saves Christmas, yeah. Have you guys ever played Cthulhu Saves Christmas? You probably should. Alright, she's sending out her Pikachu. Oh no, it's Pikachu. Oh no. Hey, look, it's the the mascot. Now it's going for quick attack. Ow. I mean, of course. Alright, Razor Leaf, go. Alright, now Crit City, go. Crit City, Crit City, Crit City. Critical hit. Yeah, it's basically a guaranteed crit if you have a even somewhat decent, speed stat. yeah, Razor Leaf is kind of a guaranteed crit in, Gen 1. It's kind of due to how Gen 1, kind of calculates crits, basically. Yeah, Gen 1 definitely has some screwy mechanics, yeah. Yeah. Alright, now, have you gone to Safari Zone in Fuchsia City? It has many rare kinds of Pokemon. Okay, I will definitely check that out. I know that, Tauros is, me and my daddy think the Safari Zone is awesome. Really? I don't think it's very awesome, really. Alright, there is a glitch you can do with, Safari Zone, though. Yeah, besides doing the Glitch City, besides doing Glitch City. Yeah, apparently if you go into Safari Zone and you kind of exit a certain zone, because the timer or something ran out, and you go surfing along the coast of Seafoam Island, hey, you can encounter Safari Zone Pokemon. Alright, I think I fought everybody on the ship right now. Alright, just let me check around real quick. Alright, let me check around real quick. Oh, whoa. Watch out for you. Alright, let me check over here real quick. Alright, alright, you gotta get... Alright, it has been a while since I've, played these games, so... Oh, I don't think I've been up here. Yeah, I've definitely not been up here. No more room for items. Oof. Item... Right now, which item should I drop? Alright, since I have an ether... Alright, maybe I should use my ether. Right now, let's use this normal ether. Restore that. Cool, I got a max potion, nice. Yeah, I've not been in here. Right now, let's use an HP up. What the hell, use it on DeviantArt. Alright, let's toss the escape rope. I'm not going to be needing that. Alright, I don't want to give up anything for Mega Punch. Actually, Mega Punch is probably fine to get rid of. It's not like it's a great move or anything like that. Alright, let's see Squirter how to use Mega Punch. It's not like it's a great move that I really want, really want. I mean, it's better than Tackle, at least. I'm just kind of making, room. Alright, now. You know what they say about sailors and fighting? I mean, I do know. My stepdad was, sailor man, was, a former Navy man. Alright now, I'm sending out my flashlight against, against the shelter. You guys have seen Cloyster, you know what Cloyster, is? Yeah, we we basically get guaranteed crits, because crits, are very wonky in, Gen 1. I will say I do like Gen 1 because, you know, it's very technically impressive for, a Game Boy game. Which, you know, is, you know, probably, which, you know, is high praise. You know, I'm gonna give it that. Of course, you know, of course it being the first, you know, does mean there's quite a bit of glitches, as well as, you know, certain balancing issues, such as with the psychic type, of course. Oh yeah, we basically get Crit City on that horsey. Alright, now, Shelter. Alright, now, send out your Shelter. Alright, I will use another Razor Leaf. What? My attack missed! I know. Well, good thing it didn't go for Aurora Beam or something like that. Yeah, I know. Wait, what level does Shelter learn Aurora Beam? Does it have Aurora Beam right now? I remember Razor Leaf does have slight accuracy issues. Wait, doesn't you know Tentacruel take neutral from Razor Leaf? Critical hit. What? It's not very effective. Wait, what? That can't be right. Isn't it water and poison? Shouldn't it take neutral? Right, I think I think the type matchups in Gen 1 are a little screwy too. Unfortunately. Alright, now I see an item over there. I like feisty kids like you. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Well, what do you mean you like feisty kids like me? That's a little sus, not gonna lie. Yeah, don't make me send out my hip. Alright now. I'm expecting. Alright now. Don't make me send. Hopefully this dude doesn't have a hypno or something. Funny enough, in Scarlet Violet there is a dude with a hypno who's like in a dark cave or so. Who's like in a dark cave somewhere. Yeah, I was kind of like, nah, that's kind of sus. I remember that very specifically because I was like, that's kind of really sus. Speaking of which, I do want to play... Speaking of which, I'd be more than happy to play Scarlet and Violet again. I mean, to be fair, Scarlet and Violet, kind of run like shit on the Switch, but, I wouldn't say Scarlet and Violet's, completely, awful by any means. It just kind of definitely has some issues, though. But, I kind of, like Scarlet and Violet for what it was. Definitely had a little bit of jank in some places. Especially with very noticeable slowdown glitches. Especially with very noticeable, performance drops. But then again, I say that and I'm playing Gen 1 right now, so Gen 1 is still the king of jank, really. Yeah, Gen 1 is kind of the king of Pokemon jank, really. Although, although I do like the idea of, modern Pokemon games still having a bit of jank and, glitches inside of them. Yeah, I think some of them are pretty funny. Not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, as long as glitches aren't completely, just wrecking your game, I think they're pretty okay. Especially if they're just visual, especially if they're mostly visual. So, probably the performance issues are probably something that should have really been fixed. And not with this release of the Switch 2, Yeah, I did see, they were, advertising, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, run great on Switch 2, and it's like, but it should have been running fine on, Switch 1. I mean, the Switch 1, Switch 1 can run Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, as well as, X, effortlessly. Yeah, they can run those games, which are way more, better looking than, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So Scarlet and Violet should have definitely been running, fine on that. But, mostly it was binary issues, in Pokemon, but, Scarlet and Violet, really. Though I definitely notice whenever things, kind of slow down to a crawl. Then again, I was also playing Adler and that definitely had some performance issues that were just like, Alright, now I won that fight pretty easily. Right now you're leveled up. Alright, now let's get DeviantArt in here. Yeah, I did make my... No, you're trying to make me walk the plank? No. You must be a pirate. Yar har fiddly. Yeah. Kinda reminds me of, when my stepdad, was kinda cleaning the ship and, somebody decided, hey, I'm gonna drop him right into the sea, with a bunch of jellyfish. Nah, that definitely, that definitely was like, no. I kind of felt bad for him when I heard that. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for my stepdad when I heard that, really. I guess military peoples that have it kind of rough, don't they? Yeah, even more so when they really see action. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of glad, that he mostly, didn't see action, really. Kind of glad he didn't see action, or if he did, he didn't tell me that. Which I don't blame him if he didn't want to tell me that. After all, if you killed somebody, what you're really bragging about it to your kids or something? I don't think so. Oh no, it's Gary motherfucking Oak. No, it's my dick. My dick, bonjour, Indy. Imagine seeing you here. Indy, were you really invited? I mean, yes, I got it from Bill. Wait, you talked to Bill? That's where I got my ticket from. Wait, he told me he was kind of trapped into, this one experiment where he got his cells recombined. And, I just kind of took the ticket and left. Are you sure that, he did do the experiment after you left, Gary? I mean, you literally saw me, like, a few seconds ago before you went there. I kind of saw you on the way there. So he kind of did the experiment, a few minutes after you left. Oh, well, yeah, he kind of, I'm not saying that, he was kind of already like that. I kind of, pressured him into showing me his Pokemon, and he gave me an SSN ticket, and I kind of promised, to help him, but, and I kind of left and said, smell you later, but, that's definitely not my fault, no. So, how's your Pokedex coming? I already caught 40 kinds, pal. Sure you did, you liar. Sure you did. I X'd out, Gary. X'd out. Different kinds are everywhere. Crawl around in grassy areas. I mean, I know where Pokemon live, Gary. Alright, now, Gary motherfucking Oak wants to battle. My dick wants to fight. My dick sends out Pidgeotto. Oh, cool, you got a Pidgeotto that's like level 19. That's really nice, Gary. By the way, my Hypno's like level 38. Want to see this cool move that's called Psychic? Alright, let's use Psychic. Yeah, want to see that? Pidgeotto defeated. How you like that? Gary motherfucking Oak? My dick is about to use Raticate. Oh, will Indy change Pokemon? Nah, I don't need to change Pokemon. No, you got level 16 Raticate. Isn't that, somehow fully evolved and, under-leveled? Yeah, it's somehow fully evolved and under-leveled, by the way. I noticed that, Nah. Yeah, it's just like that one Team Rocket run in Mount Moon. Yeah, how did you do that, Gary? Did you use Action Replay? No, he's going for a quick attack. Of course he did. Well, it barely did anything. Alright, eat my Psychic, yeah. Yeah, take that and get your cheating ass out of here. Oh, yeah. Alright, my dick is about to use Kadabra. Will Indy change Pokemon? Oh, he's gonna send out Kadabra. Well, he's gonna have an Alakazam by the end of the game. I basically have the Walmart discount version of, Kadabra and Alakazam. Alright, now let's headbutt him. Yeah. Kadabra's got, like, low physical defense, by the way. Take that. Eat that. Eat my shorts. My dick is about to use Ivysaur. Will Indy change Pokemon? No, I don't need to change Pokemon. I'm gonna use my Hypno. I Hypno like DeviantArt. You know, Hypno is very popular among certain artists. Alright, now let's use Psychic on Ivysaur. By the way, I noticed you still have an Ivysaur. I have a Blastoise, by the way. It's super effective. Wait, you swept me like one Pokemon. Yeah, how do you like that, my dick? My name is Gary, I'm not your dick. At least you're racing your Pokemon. That's right, I'm racing my Pokemon. I heard there was a Cut Master on board, but he was just a seasick old man. Gary, you're alright now. But Cut itself is really useful. Wait, you left him to be seasick? You should go see him, smell ya. Bye-bye, Gary motherfucking Oak! Well, technically speaking, it is blue, but, you know, it's kind of a little bit the same. Yeah, it kind of looks similar, but, you know, it's kind of different, really. Captain, I feel hideous, blurp seasick. And he rubbed the captain's back. Oh, we're in night, alright. Rub. Alright now. Puff, 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 puff. Woo, thank you, I feel much better. You want to see my cut technique? I can show you it. I could show you if I wasn't ill. I know, you can have this. Teach it to your Pokemon and you can use cuts anytime. And we got HMO1. Nice, we got HMO1. Nice, I have HMO1. Alright now, obviously, alright now, alright, shit, do I have a Pokemon that, you know, can learn cut? I don't want to use it on my team, basically, but, you know, I don't want to use it on anybody on my team because that kind of requires getting rid of one of their actual good moves. I know, I don't know, SSN is going bye-bye. Oh yeah, by the way, Mew is definitely 100% under the truck, and you kind of need to get cut before this. That way you can go get surfed, and then you can surf over and, you know, find the truck. And you use strength to move the truck, and, you know, Mew is definitely 100% under it. Yeah, Mew is definitely 100% under the truck, by the way. That is definitely 100% a real thing. That's definitely not a rumor that, you know, was spread on the playground by any means. Definitely not. Alright, item. Alright, now I need to get items. Alright, HMO1, alright now, let's see. Who do I have that can learn cut? Only Fleshlight is able to learn cut. Well, I ain't doing that. Well, I ain't teaching Fleshlight cut. Instead, what I'm gonna do is look in the tall grass for a Bellsprout. Hey look, we found one! Nice! Alright, level 13, can we beat it without killing it? Alright, can we beat it without killing? Maybe if we, you know, use... That's not very effective. Alright, let's try Acid. No, it's not very effective, but it still kills the one shot. It's not very effective, but it still kills the one shot. Alright, I'll try using Pinhead instead. Alright, now, Wait, can't Sandshrew learn cut? No, obviously Pidgey can't learn cut. No, I don't want to see Pidgey, no. Wait, doesn't Sandshrew learn cut? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I decided, you know, to catch a couple Pokemon, you know, kind of in the grass because I was thinking, you know, hey, I could go get the EXP share later. Alright now, alright now. I will deposit, let's see, who would basically be useless against, you know, Lieutenant Surge? Let's put Birdup away. Because obviously Lieutenant Surge is electric. Wait, Farfetch can learn cut. Alright, now, use PC. Nope, I don't wanna get rid of the potions. Put away the TM. Alright, put away the Dome Fossil. We're not gonna need that for a while. Alright, I will keep my Moonstone. Alright, put away the Nugget. I'm gonna need that later. Oh, no, I don't want to get rid of my potions. Stop defaulting the potions, please. Alright, I doubt I will be needing my SSN ticket anymore. Alright, yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm running out of space and items. And I kinda need to put stuff away. Alright, I think I'll keep I think I'll keep the old rod for now. Maybe I might catch a, Gyarados later. Maybe I might catch a, Magikarp and, get a Gyarados. In fact, wait, I know. There is a glitch you can do with, the old rod. There is a glitch you can do with the old rod. Alright, I will put away the Max Potion. Put away the Ether. And obviously I will put away TM44. That I'm pretty sure is rest. Right now, item. Alright, I'm pretty sure Farfetch can learn this. Alright, try and learn Cut, but you can't learn more than 4 moves. Yeah, good thing I got Farfetched. Alright, get rid of Leer. Obviously, we won't be using it to, fight Lieutenant Surge himself, obviously. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that. Alright, let's get out. Alright, now, first off, we're going to heal. Alright, I'm going to heal it first before I take on Lieutenant Surge, so I can at least be at tip-top shape when I go fight him. Also, help restore all the power points that I used while in, while in the SSN. Funny enough, the SSN in the anime was not actually the SSN. Yeah, I suspect, was kind of... I think my canon reason for that is, I think my canon reason for that is, yeah, that imposter... That SSN was actually imposter and, set up as a trap by, Team Rocket, yeah. Since, obviously, they reported that. Yeah, it has a name very similar to, the actual SSN. This is no place for kids. Uh-oh. Alright, we're gonna have to fight some more aggressive Sailormen. Don't worry, if there's one thing a magical girl knows all about, it's about Sailormen. Alright, now, payday. Yeah, we're gonna get some money. Alright, give me your... Alright, now. You're gonna get some bonus cash. Nice, Jesse Chain. Alright. Yeah, alright now. By the way, Persian is actually really good in Gen 1. Not so much basically anywhere else, really. But the reason is because Slash is, basically Crit City with, Persian. Which is pretty much the only reason, really. Also, Persian has a really decent speed stat, a pretty good, special stat. I'm a lightweight, but I'm good with electricity. Uh-oh. You're a lightweight, what do you mean you're a lightweight? You're a lightweight, what do you mean? What do you mean you're a lightweight? Are you talking about alcohol? Whoa, I wasn't aware that, Pokemon games were allowed to, reference alcohol, even back then. Alright now, Voltorb defeated. Alright now, Rocker is about to use Magnemite. Magnemite. Yeah. Oh yeah, that kind of... Alright, Magnemite kind of reminds me of that episode that, where there was Grimer and Muck, and, there was Magnemite that was in love with Pikachu because Pikachu was kind of had a cold and, its electricity was going, nuts. Oh, I didn't go for Sonic Boom? Probably should have gone for Sonic Boom. Yeah, once Pikachu got over the cold, Magnemite was no longer interested in Pikachu. Just when, obviously when Pikachu had a cold, it was kind of, it was kind of, not able to control most of its electricity, obviously. Yeah, get fried. Yeah, you get fried just like my brain whenever I do weed. Wait, I don't do weed. I do cocaine. When I was in the army, Lieutenant Surge was my strict CO. Wait, you were in the army as an old man and you know... Alright, now. Wait, you're like an old man. Wait, what do you mean, you know, what do you mean he was like your CO? Alright, now. How old exactly is Lieutenant Surge? By the way, in the Pokemon manga, Lieutenant Surge was, you know, not a very good person whatsoever, no. He was really not good, yeah. Yeah, he was kind of a war criminal, sort of like the Pokemon League. Yeah, sort of like Lance. Nope, only trash. Alright, trash. Nope, only trash. Yeah, we have to do this puzzle. Nope, there's only trash. Nope, only trash. Yeah, we have to do a puzzle where we have to find a switch. Hey, there's a switch under the trash. Turn it on. The first electric lock is open. The second electric lock open. The motorized door is open. Oh, good. Alright, nice. Alright, let's go beat Lieutenant Surge. Hey, kid, Hey, kid, what do you think you're doing here? You won't live long in combat. That's for sure. I tell you, kid, electric Pokemon saved me during the war. Wait, what? There was a war? There was a war and people were using Pokemon as weapons during it. Wait a minute, wasn't this the war that, you know, Mr. AZ was in? Is that the war you're talking about? No, I'm talking about Vietnam. I'm talking about Nam, man. They zapped my enemies into paralysis. The same that'll do to you. Well, at least you're not war criminal, Surge, so that's an improvement. Alright, like the American wants to send out his Voltorb. Alright, now, you send out... Alright, now, Lieutenant Surge put his balls in the field. Alright, we're gonna bite him. Yeah, how do you like that? Get bit. Yeah, you're like a big ball of yarn to, you know, my cat. Alright, he's about to send out Pikachu. Wait a minute, you Lieutenant Surge, you didn't evolve it into Raichu? I thought you evolved it into Raichu as soon as you got it. You see, I kind of ran out of, you know, Thunderstones. I have to go all the way to Celadon to get that. You know, that's kind of a trek. I have to go through this rock tunnel, which is not nice to my electric Pokemon. So, you know, that's kind of rough for me, you know? I mean, can't you just get one of those electric water type? Can't you just get a water type? No, I'm an electric type trainer only. Wait, can't you just get a Lantern or something? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's water and electric. That doesn't exist in Gen 1. Alright now. Alright now, take that, Lieutenant Surge. Alright, he's about to send out his Raichu. Alright, now his Raichu is the heaviest hitter. Whoa, level 24. It's kind of high level for this point in the game. Alright, now we're gonna bait him. Yeah, good thing Raichu's defense is, you know, very low. Well, Raichu actually flinched from the bite. Nice. Yeah, how you like that, Payday? I'm gonna get myself some extra money off this fight. Money! Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah. What's more important, it doesn't matter when you win or lose, or, you know, the real important thing in your own life, you know, besides love, is money. Thunder Badge cranks up your Pokemon speed. It also lets you use Fly at any time, kid. You're special, kid, take this. Nice, we got Team 24, which is Thunderbolt, which is, you know, a good move. Alright, teach it to an electric type. I mean, that is good advice. I'll probably save it for, like, Zapdos or something. By the way, where was Zapdos again? I'm just kidding. I know where Zapdos is. Alright, I'm gonna have to keep Farfetch'd in my party for just a little bit longer. Alright now. Yeah, we used Payday. We got a little bit of extra spending money. What, you lose my fight, but you don't get yourself a little bit of extra money. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what Payday does. Yeah, I'm gonna become a crane boss with all this money. Then I'm gonna, you know, out crane boss Giovanni. I mean, that's just what you do when you get a Persian. Yeah. You naturally become a crane boss. You become like that pun villain, you know, stroking that white cat. Alright now, alright now. Alright, oh shit, who do I put away? Alright, I think I'll put away... I'll put away a flashlight for right now. I'll put away a flashlight and then grab myself, you know, bird up. Bird up, it's bird girl. Alright, I will take out flashlight later once I, you know, get past the tree that's, you know, in Celadon City. Yeah, there's kind of a tree up there and I kind of need to use cut for it, so... Yeah, that's kind of the bad thing about, you know, the Gen 1 game. And kind of the bad thing about, you know, old Pokemon games is that, yeah, the HMs are required and, you know, yeah, nobody, and, you know, yeah, I'm kind of glad, you know, they went away from making those required. That's one thing I will say is good about, you know, any, you know, more modern Pokemon game. That's kind of a good thing that, you know, came out of, you know, basically the 3DS era, basically. Yeah, I kind of wish they, you know, kept, you know, TMs reusable. Yeah, for some reason they went back to, you know, making them single-use again, which is like, just why? Then again, you know, a lot of Pokemon fans were like, you know, hey, you know what we should do? We should get back TMs. TMs should be, you know, single-use again. And I'm like, no, that's a bad idea. Yeah, so Game Freak decided, you know, of course to go with that. You have Pokemon with you, you're mine. No, I'm not. I'm not yours. What are you doing? Get out of here, you Cinderace. Get out of here, you're Cinderace. The only person that's allowed to be Cinderace for me is Eneban. Well, I mean, all of you are actually Cinderace for me, but you know. Actually, all you guys are Cinderace for me. Yeah, I don't know why I attract so many Cinderace. It's not like I like you guys or anything. Alright, now she's about to send out Bellsprout. Alright, now time to get out DeviantArt, I guess. Wait, you have a Hypno? Ew, that's creepy. What are you talking about? It's literally named DeviantArt. Why did you name it DeviantArt? It's just for a joke. It's just for a joke that, you know, the audience will get. You know what they say about Hypno? Wait, I mean like it's you know, the best Pokemon creepypasta? You mean it's like associated with one of the best Pokemon creepypastas ever? I mean, to be fair, Hypno's Lullaby is a very good creepypasta, not gonna lie. Yeah, I just have it for, you know, the creepypasta. Yeah. Yeah, and also to make a joke about how Hypno is, you know, used for, you know, certain particular art. You deceived me. Yeah, that's right, I'm not gonna fall for your Cinderace-ness. The only person that's allowed to be Cinderace, I can only tolerate so many Cinderace. I got TM30, alright, alright, which TM was, you know, TM30 again? Alright, let me check to see if this is, oh, it's Teleport. Well, Teleport is basically useless now. Yeah, Teleport is basically useless. I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! That's fake news! Fake news! Fake news! I am not Cinderace! I am not in any way, shape, or form Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! Quit lying! Stop telling lies about me! I'm not a Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! I am not Cinderace! Stop telling lies! I'm having lies and fake news spread about me again! Stop spreading lies and fake news! Stop spreading lies and fake news! Oh wait, I just realized I can't go... I just realized that I don't have the Flash TM. Well, actually, that's fine. I'm not gonna use Flash. Alright, we're gonna have to stumble around in the dark. Alright, we're gonna stumble around in the dark in the rock cave, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not... Alright, now. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure I can still see the walls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can still see the walls, though. Oh wait, the Venonat. Didn't one of the Pokemon characters have a Venonat or something? Wait, I think that was Tracy, wasn't it? You know, the person that joined Ash and Orange Islands. Yeah, that was Tracy, right? Yeah, I think they had a Venonat, yeah. Wait, they had a Venonat, right? Yeah, I'm not crazy, right? Yeah, that was the person that had a Venonat, right? Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember. Wait, I do remember I used Venonat to, you know, basically, you know, as a radar. That's basically, you know, radar sometimes. You know, such as to find missing Pokemon or whatever. Wait, didn't Tracy use that to, like, find the Crystal Onyx? By the way, you know what Pokemon needs to do? They need to make a regional form. That's basically the Crystal Onyx. Yeah, I would like that. Although, what type would the Crystal Onyx be, really? I mean, I know... Oh, boy. Alright, it's gonna be dark, and there's gonna be plenty of Zubat in here. Hey, look, it's everybody's favorite, you know, cave-dwelling Pokemon, Zubat. Alright, now, bats are beautiful and, you know, amazing creatures. Probably, you know, although I will say that this gen, you know, overuses Zubat. I'm just glad that, you know, none of the Geodudes and Growlers inside this rock tunnel, you know, have sturdy and self-destruct. Pokemon fight ready, let's go. I wish I had Flash. No, it's a Pokemaniac. It looks like a nerd. It looks like a nerd it looks like an edgy nerd. Die, you're a nerd. Get wrecked, nerd. Get wrecked, nerd. Oh wait, I'm gonna need to cut the, you know, access to Erika's gem, aren't I? Ugh, man. Alright, he's about to use Slowpoke. I don't know if Slowpoke is Psychic. Alright, well, alright, I remember Slowpoke is Psychic in water. Yeah, I kind of put away my Weeping Bell. Yeah, I'll get it back, you know, eventually, though. Game over, dude. Game over, yeah! Alright, let's stumble around in the dark inside this tunnel. Yeah, by the way, I'm not Cinderace. That's a bunch of lies and misinformation. I mean, how can a bat be Cinderace? No. I am Batty, not Cinderace. Yeah, there's kind of a difference. Yeah, I actually am very Batty, you know, unfortunately. Yeah, you know, I don't like loud noises. You know, I really don't like loud noises. Does that make me like a bat? I mean, obviously, Anybody's a bat, but, you know, yeah, I don't like loud noises sometimes. I think that might be just related to the schizophrenia, though. I think that just might be related to the schizophrenia, unfortunately. And yes, I literally do have that disease. Yeah, that's kind of why sometimes I'm, like, really out of it, so unfortunately. Yeah, so if I kind of seem like that sometimes, that's probably why. Alright, is this the path to go? I don't often come here, but I will fight you. Alright, now, uh-oh. Alright, we're under attack by a Junior Trainer. Alright, Junior Trainer is using a Grass type as their starter. Alright, I like Oddish. Did I guys ever tell you that I like Oddish? I kinda wish, you know, Oddish was, you know, in this, and, you know, I kinda wish, you know, Oddish was in, you know, Pokemon Blue. I mean, to be fair, out of the two, I think that Victory Bell's a little bit better in this generation, really. I mean, there's not really too many good poison or grass moves anyway. Yeah, the reason I think Victory Bell's a little bit better than, you know, Vileplume in you know, Gen 1 is because, you know, of course, you know, Victory Bell has access to Wrap. And Wrap is basically the most, you know, broken move, and, you know, and it's basically one of the most broken moves in Gen 1, as well as, you know, things like Fire Spin and Bind. Alright, you guys obviously know what I'm talking about, right? It's because back in Gen 1, and Gen 1 only, you know, they fixed it in Gen 2. Yeah, trapping moves like Wrap and Bind and, you know, Fire Spin were, like, really annoying stall tactics that, you know, that, you know, were part of the meta. They were meta at one point. You know, specifically because once you hit somebody with them, they can't attack, and the attack basically continues. And, you know, the fun thing about that is if you apply Toxic or Poison or Leech Seed to them a turn prior and then hit it with, you know, that move, you know, hey, they wouldn't be able to respond, and, you know, they would keep, you know, doing stacking damage on them. And that was, like, really, really annoying. Yeah, you can't hit my, you know, bird up with, you know, Bone Club. Bone Club's a ground type move. I personally don't know why, you know, using a Bone Club wouldn't be able to hit a bird, but, you know, whatever. Whatever, at least it works out for me. You know, I do like, I mean, granted, you know, alright now. Yeah, the Pokemon, you know, sometimes they'll do. Alright now. Yeah, you know what one of my favorite, you know, episodes of, you know, the Pokemon anime is? You remember when Gastly was introduced in, you know, that Maiden Peak episode? Alright, what's Hiker gonna do? Alright, so now Geodude, it's probably gonna have self-destruct or something really annoying like that. Alright, obviously Birdup's not gonna be useful here. Oh, it didn't go for self-destruct, thankfully. Alright, please don't go for self-destruct. That would be really annoying. Yeah, luckily there's no sturdy in this game, in, you know, Gen 1. In fact, the abilities wouldn't get introduced into Pokemon in general until, you know, until Gen 3. You know, really a good change in my opinion. A good change in my opinion. A good change because good abilities, you know, make Pokemon and make, you know, good abilities that, you know, make a lot of Pokemon, you know, a lot better. And then once we start getting into Pokemon with like multiple different abilities and, you know, all that. Right, I am not even sure if I'm heading the right way. Outsiders like you need to show me some respect. What are you talking about? What are you doing in the darkness? No, it's a hiker. Another, alright. Alright, I guess this hiker is supposed to be like a boomer or something. You know how boomers, you know, demand respect, you know, basically. You know how boomers like to demand respect. Alright. Oh no, it's going for self-destruct! Oh, that's bad. Oh, it didn't kill me. Oh no. Yeah, we don't like self-destruct or explosion in this game. Yeah, they kind of, you know, half your defense, by the way. And, you know, yeah, they have your, yeah, self-destruct and explosion half your defense, so they're basically, you know, very, very strong moves, yeah. I mean, obviously they kind of stopped doing that, thankfully. Yeah, which is kind of a bad change in my opinion, you know. Kind of makes it... What? We encountered an Onix? Yo, we encountered an Onix! Alright, Drill Peck, go! Alright, not very effective, but enough to take it out. Alright, am I even heading the right way? I don't know. Oh, there's Machop! Unfortunately, you know, fighting types suck in Gen 1. Unfortunately, fighting type, you know, as broken as it, you know, did become, you know, it's not very good in Gen 1. Although fighting type did become, you know, kind of good, you know, basically thanks to Gen 2, basically. Because, of course, Steel and Dark are both weak to fighting. Although, you know, Machop, you know, looks kind of super derpy in, you know, Gen 1, basically. Yeah, it kind of looks a little like it has gills. Hikers leave twigs as trail markers. Well, good thing you're not leaving behind breadcrumbs. You know, in Fairyland there was a couple kids who tried to do that. You know, because their stepmother tried to get them to do that. Yeah, their stepmother kind of tricked them into doing that, and it kind of led to them, you know, encountering, you know, a gingerbread house, which, you know, was kind of operated by, you know, an evil serial killer. You know, obviously the witch. Yeah, and my lord, that witch, you know, was actually Hexy Trude, who's, you know, one of the surviving members of Legion. Yeah, if you basically don't know what Legion is, they're basically, you know, the lore's equivalent to demons, basically. Well, kind of. Well, kind of, except they were kind of made by, you know, they were kind of made by an outerversal entity that's kind of, you know, the brother to the creator. Only that only the other versatile entity that made him to basically vandalize their brother's hearts, you know, basically out of spite, you know, to get Aang to sabotage it. Yeah, and Legion were basically part of the results of that, basically. Oh no, Geodude. Oh man. Oh man, I'm gonna get... Alright, these guys are probably gonna have self-destruct. Yeah, I do not like self-destructing. I mean... Hahaha, can you beat my power? I mean, I'm pretty sure I can. I have a psychic type on my team. I have a psychic type with me. I'm pretty sure I can beat anything in, you know, Gen 1, really. Yeah, psychic type is, like, super broken in Gen 1. Yeah, you know, Ghost was intended to counter it, but, you know, the only Ghost type line in you know, Gen 1 is, you know, is also Poison type, which means they're weak to Psychic. and of course, due to a bug, you know, Lick doesn't even work on Psychic types. even though Gen 1 clearly intended for, you know, Ghost to counter Psychic types. Yeah, it only had Lick. It only had Lick as an actual offensive option. I mean, there is also Nightshade, but Nightshade does basically damage based on level anyway. Which, I guess doesn't really count. So, all you can really do is use Lick. And Lick is so bad. And it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work on Psychic types because of bugs. Alright, I might as well use up one of my best moves on this Geodude by, you know, misclicking. Alright, sorry about that, I kinda misclicked. Right now, I'll just dodge around the enemy trainers. Oh no, Zubat! Alright, now, I'm not gonna lie, I do like, you know, bat Pokemon, but, you know... How many bat Pokemon are there again? Let's see, there's Noibat, there's Zubat, there's Swoobat. Oh yeah, and there's Lunala. I mean, Lunala's a bat. Yeah, Pokemon, let's start. Alright, now, let's duel. Alright, another junior trainer. Alright, and they have a team of 4. Yeah, I gotta remember, yeah. Yeah, I'm just liking that there's trainers that, you know, have more than, you know, 2 or 3 Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, although I will not miss, you know, the guy with, you know, 6 Magikarps. Yeah, they kind of made that thing, you know, kind of a recurring theme until more of the recent games. Yeah, they really need to bring back, you know, actual trainer classes. You know, cause, you know, they really need to bring back trainer classes, yeah. You know, one thing I will say about, you know, Scarlet and Violet is, you know, there's not really much, you know, enemy trainer variety. I mean, you do have hikers and, you know, workers and, you know, students. For some reason, some of them are like, you know, portly adults with, you know, neckbeards. For some reason. I don't get it. Yeah, why? Why? I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at least one of them was like a really old person too. Whoops, I kind of misclicked. I meant to use Confusion. Oh well. Well, it's not like I'm gonna be here much longer. Yeah, I really regret not getting the Flash. Not really getting Flash. Oh well, I'll get Flash. Really regretting not getting Flash because, you know, it's kind of annoying to navigate, you know, without that. Alright, get that. Alright, now. Yeah, I kind of wish Crobat was a thing, you know. I came this far for Pokemon. Yeah, kind of glad, you know, that Gen 2, you know, did give us Crobat. Yeah, Crobat is Gen 2, by the way. Yeah, there's no such thing as Crobat in Gen 1. Yeah, there is, in fact, there's no such thing as friendship evolutions. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things, you know, that came out with Gen 2. You know, alright. Alright, now let's battle the Oddish. Alright, I'll just use Confusion to get rid of it, since it's Poison type. Yeah, Poison type is, you know, kind of the worst type in Gen 1. Funny enough, you know, Poison is actually really good, you know, in the modern Pokemon games because it's so defensive. But because, you know, in Gen 1, you know, Psychic's pretty much dominating, you know, everything. And, you know, the only really good, you know, Poison move is Sludge, basically. Yeah. Yeah, there's not even Sludge Bomb in this game. Not even Sludge Bomb in this game. Yeah, that's another thing that came out in Gen 2. Alright, might as well headbutt, you know, the Machamp. Alright, nice, we're out. I'm pretty sure there's an item in this tree. Yeah, I knew there was an item there. I don't know where all the hidden items are, so I'll probably be missing quite a bit of them, but I will get some of them. Alright, finally, we're in Lavender Town. I mean, obviously there's the Pokemon Tower, but we can't do that yet because we can't even see the ghost. We can't even see ghost Pokemon, really. Alright, I might as well pick up my I might as well put... No, excuse me for just a minute. Alright, I will put away ducks. Alright, I will probably get ducks later. Alright, pick up flashlights. Oh no, I forgot, I need... I forgot, I need Cut to be able to get full picks. I need Cut to be able to get full picks. Man. Yeah, I remember. By the way, let's talk to this little girl. Surely she has something sweet and innocent to say. Do you believe in ghosts? No, I don't. Haha, I guess not. That white hand on your shoulder. It's not real. What are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, I can see why the Pokemon Tower was kind of condemned. Though it's kind of funny, you know, going back to this Pokemon game and, you know, seeing ghost types actually, you know, do things like possess people. Kind of funny, you know. They never use channeler classes I don't think they use mediums or channeler classes too much after Gen 1. Yeah, obviously. Wait, did they? Actually, I don't remember. Wait, I'm pretty sure they did, though. Alright, I'm gonna ignore you. Alright, what's a cute, round and fluffy Pokemon? Well, I mean, if you want cute, round, and fluffy Pokemon, you should probably hear about these things called fairy types. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as fairy types. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? You literally have a fairy type right there. What do you mean? Clefairy's a normal type in Gen 1. Wait, wait, but, you know, it's clearly a fairy type. What the heck is a fairy type? There's no such thing as fairy types. But you literally have 2 fairy types on your team. Mister, these are Clefairy. They're normal types. Remember back when Clefairy was a normal type? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, I'm eating all the member berries. Yeah, I am eating all the member berries. Yeah, I'm gonna eat up all the member berries. Alright, now I know there's Vulpix inside this grass somewhere. Alright, I'll probably kill it before you know. I probably will kill it, though. Alright, Pidgey, we don't want that. Get out of here. We don't want Pidgeys. Go away, Pidgey. Yeah, I'm not interested in Pidgey. Although I probably do need to level up just a little bit. Alright, there's Sandshrew. I mean, Sandshrew is, you know, awesome and everything, but, no. Get out of here, Sandshrew. I want Vulpix. Alright, come on, Vulpix. Please don't be like one of those rare 5% encounters in here. You know, like certain Pokemon are. You know, like Dugtrio, or, you know, male Nidoran, or, you know, Pikachu. Alright, there's a Meowth. I mean, Meowth is very cool, but, you know. I mean, we like Meowth because we like Team Rocket. I mean, more specifically, we like Jessie and James. I mean, Jessie and James are very good trainer. I mean, Jessie and James are very good villains. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I like Jessie and James as villains. You know, one time they actually beat Ash. To be fair, you know, Ash kind of reset his team, and you know, Team Rocket got stacked with some actual good Pokemon for a change. Like they were running, you know, they were running the Sun and Moon meta. Yeah, they were running, you know, the Pokemon that were, you know, meta in Sun and Moon. I guess all those years of being defeated by Ash and Pikachu did teach them some battle skills. Yeah, funny enough, you know, Arbok did have access to Acid as well as Glare and Wrap. You know, Gen 1 Wrap. Yeah, but nope, she kept using it for things like Poison Sting for whatever reason. Although then again, you know, the mechanics of, you know, the Pokemon anime are obviously very different from the game. You know, even though, you know, apparently levels are a thing in, the Pokemon anime. And it's just that, you know, in the anime, levels kind of matter a little bit less than they do probably in the game because, you know, obviously the games are more limited by gameplay mechanics, whereas, you know, obviously the anime battles are more live action and, you know, heavily teamwork based. You know, which, you know, more people are kind of wanting from modern Pokemon games, even though I kind of find it, you know, to be rather unrealistic that, you know, it will ever really be like that. Although, you know, although making the moves more technically impressive would be, you know, very cool. Oh, there it is. Alright, there's what I'm looking for. Alright, now, Poison Sting, don't kill. Alright, nice, it didn't kill. Alright, now, and then we use one of our Great Balls. Hopefully it works. Alright, now Vulpix has been caught. Yeah, obviously I do want Vulpix because it's one of the only good fire types that you can get early enough in this game. Yeah, and funny thing about Vulpix in this game is it has access to Toxic and Fire Spin. You know, Charizard also has access to Toxic and Fire Spin, but you know. Yeah, funny enough, yeah, there's also another Pokemon episode that I kind of want to mention. And yeah, there was like this Ninetales that, you know, lived for like 1,000 years, and you know, its old master that, you know, lived 1,000 years ago, you know, kind of highly resembled Brock, so it was kind of using illusions and psychic attacks to kind of, you know, try and get Brock to free its master again. Because it mistaked it for its former master. Yeah, kind of the downside of, you know, Pokemon that are basically not immortal like Ninetales, basically. Alright, I need to name this after probably one of the second best search engine after the Brave engine. Firefox. Yeah, get out of here. We don't use Google Chrome in this household. Yeah, after all, yeah, I did used to use Google Chrome, but then they started making ads kind of required, and I was like, nah, get out of here with that crap. I was like, nah, I'm not interested in that, no. Get out of here with that. Alright, I'm gonna cut that down. Alright, since I have my Vulpix now, I need to consider who to I need to consider who to cut and who to add. Obviously, I am gonna want, Right now, Bill's PC. Alright, obviously I don't want to use Lux. Obviously I don't want to use Ducks. Alright, obviously we are going to need Burduck for a while at least. At least until we get one of the legendary birds, maybe. Alright, Jesse and James. Alright. Alright, I don't want to get rid of Definert. I'm definitely not getting rid of Nidoking. Yeah, I kind of want to keep all of them, really. Man, this is impossible. No, man, I kind of really want to keep... Man, I really wanted to keep that one. Alright, I will take Firefox, though. I kind of want to take Firefox with me, though. But I'm gonna... Alright, now. Alright, I forgot, you know, Firefox is kind of a little... Firefox will be a little under-leveled and, you know, obviously need a lot of training. You know, make it, you know, slightly better. You'll need a little bit of training to make it, you know, slightly better. Obviously, I will need to train Firefox up a little bit, you know, make it, you know, just as good as the rest of my team. But I think I should manage with that. Right now, I might as well take Firefox for now. Alright, what level does Firefox learn Fire Spin again? It's like its last attack or something? Alright, there is one trainer I am very much against, you know, fighting. And that's that, you know, gambler that's right there. We're gonna really avoid that guy. I for sure want to avoid that guy. Yeah, I for sure want to avoid that guy because he's kind of essential to the Mew glitch. Yeah, if you don't know, but I won't be doing that right now. I won't be doing that until, you know, probably, you know, after I beat the Elite Four. Yeah, the reason for that is because I did do it a couple times, you know, back during my... I did do that a couple times, and it kind of led to some game-breaking bugs, unfortunately. Yeah, and the game-breaking bugs, you know, kind of mess with, you know, Giovanni, and, you know, that was not good, because, you know, I kind of need to fight him to actually make progress in the story. Alright, I will put away Firefox for now. Right now, I will take... Oops. Right now, I will take Ducks with me. Yeah, the reason we were using Ducks is, you know... The only reason I'm using Ducks is for HM Slaves. Now, that's the only reason he's here. Oh wait, I forgot the bike voucher, didn't I? Oh no. Oh wait, I have access to fly. Wait, I have access to fly, don't I? I'm pretty sure... Alright, now. Right, I have access to fly, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, the reason I'm wanting to keep... Alright, now, I will... Alright, yeah, Fly's right over here in this house. Now we need to talk to you. Oh, you found my secret retreat. Please don't tell anyone I'm here. I'll make it up with you for this. We're gonna save HMO2. Probably one of the better, you know, HM moves in the game. You know, relatively speaking. Alright, now we need to teach Bird Up how to fly. Alright, let's get rid of Peck. Excuse me. Alright. That's good. Alright, since we have exit... Alright, there, yeah, I kind of forgot to turn in my bike voucher. Alright, good thing we got the Celadon, so that's okay. Good thing I got the Celadon and, you know, had access to... And, you know, knew I had access to fly over there. Alright, let's get that bike voucher in here. Oh, that's, a bike voucher. Okay, here we go. Can I exchange a bike voucher for a bicycle? Alright, that's gonna be essential for later. Yeah, it's gonna make, you know, getting to Fuchsia City a little shorter. Which, you know, is essential to basically what I want to do anyway. Alright, obviously I do need to go to Celadon. Right now, I know there's a couple things we can do in Celadon. Alright, what do you say we go get an Eevee? Alright, you guys like evolutions? Alright, guys, what's your favorite evolution? Now, obviously, we can't, obviously we won't have access to all of them. We'll only have access to Vaporeon, Jolteon, and of course, Flareon. Yeah, and Gen 1 is basically the only time, Flareon was ever really good, really. I mean, they gave Flareon, they gave Flareon guts and, gave it, Flare Bits. And, I can't use Flame Orb because it's a fire type, so... Alright, now, let's name it, Alright, we need to give a name worthy of, the great name of Flareon. We're gonna name it, Satan. Satan was sent to the Pokemon PC box. Nice. Satan. Oh, no. No. No, that was new. That was new. Not nice. All hail Flareon. Yeah, suck on it, you dirty Lord Helix worshippers. Suck on it, you dirty Lord Helix worshippers. Yeah, Lord Helix rules. Lord Helix rules. Flareon rules. By the way, Lord Helix is, blasphemy anyway, because Arceus is the true god. Arceus is the one who's the true god, okay? So Lord Helix is blasphemy. Lord Helix is blasphemy. Yeah, Lord Helix ain't even God. I know because Lord... Oh, hi, I finally finished a Pokemon. Not done yet. This might be useful. TM18. Alright, what the heck is TM18? Alright, TM18, what the heck is that? Megantame's counter. No, I don't think I'll be doing that. Counter is useless. Yeah, I think it would only work on physical attacks, but it only works on normal and fighting types in this. It only works on fighting and normal moves. Only works on fighting and normal moves. Oh, there, may help you, yeah. Alright, we need to buy a bunch of Pokédolls. Alright, I'll be taking like 25. Oh well, maybe I don't need that much. Alright, I will be buying a bunch of Pokédolls. Yeah, there is a good reason for that later. Also, buy a Firestone. Alright, what other stone was I needing? Oh yeah, Leaf Stone. Yeah, I need a Leaf Stone, by the way. Alright now, alright now. Alright, I might as well... Alright now. Now, obviously I won't be using my First Stone right away, but I will be using my Leaf Stone. What? Fleshlight is evolving? Alright, we're gonna evolve Fleshlight into, Victory Bell. Alright, Victory Bell is, obtained. Yeah, since, its last move is basically Slam, which is, not very good. Yeah, Slam sucks. Right now, let's go up another level. Alright, pretty sure this is the vitamin store. Yeah, I'll worry about that later, once I, start duplicating. She's so immature, it drives you nuts. I'm thirsty, I want something to drink. Alright now, so basically what we want to do... Alright, I will get a water. Alright, I need a water. Soda Pop. And of course a lemonade. Yeah, Soda Pop, that definitely is what members would call soda. Alright, I might as well get one fresh water. Kinda need a fresh water. Alright, let's get rid of lemonade. Yay, lemonade! Thank you. You can have this from me. Receive TM49. Fry attack, which is which is kind of useless, not gonna lie. Although it is a good physical attack, if we put a Dodu, we could probably, and, you know, evolved it, we could, you know, probably teach it that. Alright, 48. 48 is Rock Slide, which is, you know, very good. It can spook targets sometimes. Hey, what are you doing? Alright, that's alright now. Alright, then we give her one Fresh Water, and she'll give us the Ice Beam for that. Alright, Ice Beam. Alright, now TM13 contains Ice Beam. Yeah, Ice Beam is like a real good move. Obviously, I'm gonna want to duplicate Rock Slide and, you know, and Ice Beam, but, you know, missing no. Yeah, I intend to do that glitch, by the way. Yeah, you guys all, but everyone and their mom knows about missing no, so I don't need to explain that, right? Alright, now, next order of business is... I guess I'll just go over to the Pokemon Gym. Alright, Erica should be nice and easy, right? I mean, it's Erica based. It's Erica, when is she not easy? I mean, alright, it's Erica. Oh, how about... Alright. It's Erica, she's like super easy, so we don't have to worry about that. I mean, she does have Vileplume in this game, but, you know, that's not a major concern, really. That's not too much of a concern, really. Oh, wait, we should Alright, I will put in Pinhead. Yeah, if anything happens to Pinhead, like it gets hit with a status. Oh, wait, what are you doing, mister? Oh, man, what are you doing? Hehe, this gym is great. It's full of women. Mister? How old exactly are all those girls in there, by the way? Mister, that's not very kosher. Hey, you're not allowed in here. Yeah, I'm just here to do the gym challenge, you know? Yeah, I'm just here to do the gym challenge and take on Erica for my badge. That's all I'm really here to do. Yeah, I don't mean any offense or anything like that. Alright now. Although I will take you on a battle if you know, or challenge me or something, I guess. Alright now, she's singing out Weeping Bell. Hey, cool. I had a Weeping Bell not too long ago. Alright now, let's hit it with a Horny attack. I mean, Horn attack. No, Poison Powder. Oh wait, it doesn't affect you. Alright, I have a Poison type. Why? Alright now, why would you go for Poison Powder on a Poison type? I kinda misclicked, yeah. You're too rough. Blah, I hope Erica wipes you out. Well, thank you for being very nice. Thank you for being very nice, challengers. I was getting bored. Yeah, by the way, alright now. You know, maybe I shouldn't, you know, tell all these ladies about, you know, that weird old guy outside. Alright, funny enough, he doesn't do that, in any of their remakes of, you know, Gen 1. Yeah, probably for the best. Probably for the best, because everybody would be worked up about that. Right now, just trying to level up my Pinhead. Alright now. Listen, I'll take on all the trainers because after I beat Erica, I'm not going to be able to challenge them, so I might as well, you know, take on all of them. Right now, another Bellsprout. Yeah, I'm just trying to level up my Pinhead so it can learn Horn Drill. Yeah, it learns it at level 41. Yeah, then I'm gonna evolve it. Alright, Beauty defeated. My makeup. Yeah, sorry about... Alright, wait, it somehow got... Grass type Pokemon are tough against water type. They also have an edge on rock and ground type. Oh, wow. Oh, hi there. Look at my grass Pokemon. They're so easy to raise. I mean, I agree. Bulbasaur is pretty cool. I agree, you know, Professor Oak, Professor Oak gave my rifle a Bulbasaur? Yeah, I don't know. And he, evolved it to Ivysaur already. You know, I have a Blastoise, so I'm kind of on an edge. I kind of have an edge over him, but, Venusaur is pretty cool, not gonna lie. Venusaur can, make trees bloom with his power. That's, like, really awesome. Hey, nice of you to have, Bellsprout. Yeah, nice to have a little pitcher plant, right? You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, carnivorous plants. One time as a kid, I did, you know, have some, you know, Venus flytraps. Yeah, I tried to get it for Christmas, but, you know, that didn't work out. Honestly, because it wasn't the right climate for them. And I never saw it, you know, catch a fly, though, unfortunately. Although, you know what a funny thing about, you know, about Venus flytraps is? They'll eat wasps. Yeah, nobody likes wasps. Wasps are assholes. Oh yeah, Bulbasaur. Funny enough, my rival has one of those. By the way, why is yours level 22? You should have evolved it already to Ivysaur. Why do you not have an Ivysaur? Alright, maybe I better not question it. Maybe they just prefer, you know, Bulbasaur. Sort of like how I preferred, you know, preferred Dratini. And, you know, leveled the one up to 100. Alright, now, let's take out those... Alright, whoa. Poison powder again? Really? You're a second trainer in here to make that mistake. Yeah, you guys know what poison types are, right? Ooh, we level up to 40. Nice. We're one level away from being able to learn Horn Drill. And in fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Alright, I will use one of my rare candies. Pinhead is trying to learn Horn Drill, but Pinhead can't learn more than 4 moves. Delete an older move to make room for Horn Drill. Yes. Which move should be forgotten? Obviously, forget Tackle. Pinhead forgot Tackle, and Pinhead learned Horn Drill. Nice. And then I will use my Moonstone. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother, you know, leveling up to learn Double Kick. I think Double Kick sucks. There's not really much use for it. What? Pinhead is evolving! I mean, I guess it's very effective against Onix or whatever. Alright, now we have Nidoking! Yeah, we have Nidoking! Yeah, speedrunners in the Pokemon community really love male Nidoking. They also prefer, you know, Pokemon Red to, you know, Pokemon Blue. You know, because male Nidoran is, like, super easy to get, you know, and it's much easier to get, you know, in that game. Alright, I will switch out to Devianart. Alright, now I will switch out to Devianart. Alright now, I wanna see, alright now. Don't bring bugs or fire Pokemon in here. I mean, I don't have any fire bug Pokemon, yeah. I have something much worse, though. I was thinking of, you know, getting a fire Pokemon, but, you know, I have Hypno. Alright, I might as well take care of the point. Alright, now. I do have a bird. By the way, I do have a bird, so I do have a weakness to grass. Alright, Devianart, level up to 40, nice. Ness is about to use Gloom. Will any change Pokemon? Sure. Alright, now, I'm technically not bringing in bugs or fire. Just so you know. You didn't say anything about no flying types. Alright, Drill Peck, go! Take that, how you like that crit? Alright, bird up, it's Bird Girl. You're a weirdo, you have a Hypno. What are you talking about? Hypno's a perfectly good Pokemon, it's like the discount, you know, AliExpress, you know, Kadabra. Welcome to Celadon Gym. You better not underestimate girl power. Okay. Okay. Oh, what? You got a whip? Oh, no. Oh, no, you got a whip. You got a whip. Oh, man. Oh, what? You got a whip? What do you use a whip? It's for, you know, commanding Pokemon to do what you want. What? Well, I ran into some guys that were dressed up and, you know, gangster, that were part of a gang that, you know, had whips too, yeah. Wait, you mean Team Rocket? I hear they have a base somewhere in Celadon City. What Team Rocket has a base in here? Well, I better go do that later. Yeah, try to hit me with Sunspore. Fly attack! How do you like that? Get fly! Yeah, you brought in a super effective a type. That means you're banned from this. You're banned from here. Banned. Gone forever. Yeah, that's what happens when you being gross bugs and, you know, fire types and you're on the Celadon Crash Gen. You get banned from here for life. What? My attack missed? No! No, that's not fair! That's not fair! I missed! Alright now, Drill Peck, go! Yeah, I might as well just use Drill Peck. I like that, get wrecked. Alright now, nice dodge, Ivysaur. Cool trainer, oh, beaten. Yeah, sorry about that. Our leader, Erica, might be quiet, but she's also very skilled. Alright, I hear it. I didn't bring my best Pokemon. Wait till next time. Wait, we can't rematch trainers. This is Gen 1, there's no such thing as rematching trainers? Pleased to meet you, my hobby is Pokemon training. Alright, that's good. I also dabble sometimes in, you know, the raising of the Pokemans. Oh no, you have Execute? Wait, are Execute, you know, eggs or seeds? Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the yeah, it's kind of, you know, inconsistent. I think, you know, the Pokedex says they're eggs at one moment and sends their seeds at the next. Yeah, kind of weird, huh? You're using Hypnosis. Oh no, that's scary. Got your Execute. Get out, Execute. How do you like that? Get wrecked. Oh, splendid. Well, thank you for saying so. I have a blind date coming up. I have to learn to be polite. Wait, do you have a problem with being polite? Oh, lovely weather, isn't it? It's so pleasant. Oh dear, I must have dozed off. Welcome. My name is Erica. I am the leader of Celadon City Gym. Maybe we shouldn't tell Erica about that weirdo that's outside of her gym, but you know, whatever. I teach her to flower arranging. My Pokemon are of grass type. I'm sorry, I had no idea that you wish to, challenge me. Very well, but I shall not lose. By the way, don't you like make perfume? I hear it's like super sweet smelling or something like that. Oh yeah, I have that as a side business, yeah. Oh wow, alright, you have a victory bell too. Oh, nice. Wait, you also have a victory bell? Yeah, it's nice to have a big ass picture plant on your team, right? Take that, Drill Peck. Nah, you're using a super effective type that, you know, is gonna get you banned from this gym. Well, I mean, trainers are probably gonna do that, you know? I mean, true, yeah. Alright, now, you're using Tangela. Alright, now. Alright, now, I can't use other... Alright, now. Alright, so now you're Tangela. Alright, now, Drill Peck, go! Stop using super effective moves, that's gonna get you banned. Gone forever. Yeah, sort of like if you make fun of my perfume. Wait, what are you talking about? That only happens in the anime. That only happens in Yellow, because Yellow's based on the anime. By the way, I have a Vileplume. Oh wait, didn't you have a Gloom? No, I evolved it, yeah. Oh, I guess this is after, you know, Ash battled, you know, you. Okay, fine. Yeah, funny enough, she does have a her team is more accurate to the anime, you know, in Pokemon Yellow. Oh, I concede defeat. You are remarkably strong. I must confer to you the Rainbow Badge. Yeah, I just use super effective hits, that's no big deal. Rainbow Badge will make Pokemon up to level 50 obey. It also makes Pokemon use strength in and out of battle. Please take this with you. Alright, I will give you Mega Drain. What about Giga Drain? There's no such thing as Giga Drain in Gen 1. What are you talking about? Yay. Remember when Mega Drain was, you know, tied to a single-use TM and, you know, limiting its availability to any Pokemon? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, I should probably tell Erica that, you know, you're creeping on them. Yeah, probably best that I don't tell Erica about that. She seems like she might get really pissed at that. She seems like she might get really pissed at that. 2,000 Pokemon and slot prizes? Wait, what? Why are you telling me that? You're telling me about your illegal operation? Go ahead, laugh. I'm flat out busted. No more slots for me. I'm going straight. Here, I won't be needing this anymore. And you received the coin case. Nice. Alright, now, that's what happens when you gamble. Yeah, they were doing gacha games and lost all their money. They lost all their money and is trying to go for, you know, going for the constellations and, you know, Genshin Impact. Yeah. Yeah, they lost all their money, you know, doing WWE Champions. Sir like this one dude who's known as DSP Gaming. Yeah. Yeah, sir like this one weirdo who's called DSP Gaming. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, dude. Like, send me money, dude. By the way, dude. Like, send me money. I'm like $500,000 in debt, and you know, it's totally big. It's totally not because I blew it all on. It's totally not because I racked up a bunch of credit cards on you know, playing gacha games and all that. Anybody telling you that is like a detractor or something? Yeah, it's totally not my fault, dude. Yeah, anybody saying otherwise is gonna get banned, gone forever. Yeah, anyway, I need that money, I really do, so if you guys could, you know, donate. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm actually kidding, that's just a joke about DSP, by the way. I'm not actually asking you to do that, I would never. I would never do that, no. Although I am considering, you know, getting, you know, some emotes soon. Probably towards the end of the month, maybe. You guys did, you know, recommend some good ones. Some good artists, I mean. Alright, so I will save you... Alright, now. Alright, I will... Right, I will save the rest of this for later. Alright, I will save, you know, I will save doing the game corner for later. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna sweep the place, by the way. You know, my Pokemon are kind of high level. Although I am still worried about, you know, Giovanni a little bit. Actually, it should be fine. I'm kind of more worried about Koga, and, you know, because his Pokemon are kind of really strong. Yeah, I also need to level up my Vulpix a little bit, so it's a little bit stronger. Yeah, I really need to beat Koga, though, so I can, and also do the Safari Zone. And also Pokemon Tower, obviously. Alright, so I'm gonna go look for somebody to raid. Yeah, basically, once I beat Koga, I plan to basically sail from Pallet Town to, you know, Cinnabar Island. You know, so that way I can, you know, do the Missing No glitch. And that way I can make all my Pokemon level 100. Without much effort. Alright, let's see who's on, shall we? Oh, I think I know who to raid. Alright, let's raid Pixel Kitten BT. Alright, now. Let's raid Pixel Kitten VT, and this time I will remember not to, you know, stop the stream and actually did the raid message first. I'm really sorry about that last night. Last night, that was, you know, not a good thing. Alright, remember today's raid message has been back raid. And I will see you in the next. Goodbye.